Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Easy Dharma for Difficult Times. These are nightly sessions done by myself and Pastor David here on the Kechara Facebook page every night at 9 p.m. apart from on Thursdays. All right, so let me just refresh my screen to see who is online now. So over the last couple of weeks, what I've been doing is I've been kind of elaborating more on the Four Noble Truths because that was the first topic that I talked about, and specifically I've been talking about things like karma and merit, and then I was going into the 6 realms. So actually we've already covered the realms of hungry ghosts and the hell realms. So what I wanted to do today was to talk about 2 realms, which is the God realm and the demigod realm. All right, so that's what we'll be covering in today's session. I've seen a few people come online. Hello, David Chu. Thanks for joining today. Pastor Hani and Yinping. Sukfan is also online. And Alicia is also online. Hello, thank you very much for joining today's session. Today, what I want to be talking about is the realms that I've been talking about so far are actually known as the lower realms. So I've covered the hell realms and I've covered the hungry ghost realm. There's one other realm within the 3 lower realms, and that's the animal realm, and that was something that I'm going to be talking about in my next session. But today, I wanted to talk about the higher realms. And within the higher realms, they are known as the God realm, the demigod realm, and the human realm. So if you're as to what they are, within Buddhism, we say that there are 6 realms of existence. Okay? And these are 6 realms in which you need to take rebirth in again and again due to karmic propensity, due to the results of the actions that you have taken in previous lifetimes. All right, and that actually leads you to have to take rebirth into one of these 6 realms. And these 6 realms are usually divided into 2. You've got the 3 higher realms and you have the 3 lower realms. So the 3 lower realms, as I just explained, are the animal realm, the hungry ghost realm, and the hell realms. And the 3 higher realms are the God realm, the demigod realm, and the human realms. All right. Hello, Martin. Thanks for joining. And Hannah, back online. Thank you very much for joining. And Sukfan says hello, Pastor Niral. Hello as well. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about the God realm and the demigod realm. So I'm going to start with the God realm. All right. Now, the God realm is what we would term as the heavens. All right. So we've talked about hell, and today it's the heavens. It's the turn of the heavens. All right. So gods are basically beings in which, and in their realm, basically, you get anything that you want. So if you're reborn as a god, you basically have a lot of powers, different sorts of powers, and as well as that, anything that you could think of, anything that you could crave, anything that you could want, automatically appears in front of you. All right. So gods are known as very beautiful beings. They're very physically beautiful. They have very good clothes. They live in palaces. Basically the equivalent would be if you think now about what your life would be if you were rich. All right. In that you had the biggest house, you had I don't know, the best cars, not just one car, but like 100 cars or more if you're into cars, right? Then you have the best food, all right? Then you have really good friends, you have good relationships with everyone, all right? This is basically what the heaven realm would be like. Anything you want, anything you wish for appears right in front of you, all right? You just have to think about the perfect nasi lemak, and it just appears in front of you. And then you get to eat it, and you get to enjoy it, and it tastes absolutely amazing, all right? This is basically the realm of the gods, all right? Now, obviously these gods have powers, all right? You just think about a god, a deity, all right? From our perspective, they seem to have clairvoyance. They seem to have powers to grant wishes. They seem to have, they're, said to be extremely kind. That's what the heavenly realm is. But you see, because the heavenly realm is within the 6 realms of existence, the heavens, when you're reborn as a god, you also have emotions. All right? You have emotions. Okay? So, as with the previous sessions, what I've been talking about is what leads you to take rebirth into one of these realms. All right? Oh, I've seen quite a few people join. Hello, Chung. Nice to see you here. Karen is back. Thank you very much for joining. Jerry is back. Thank you. You're a regular. Thank you very much for joining. Chung, good evening. Lucy Goes here and Cindy Lee as well. And Lucia is online. Thank you for joining. Sharon Ong. Kin Ho is also online. Good evening. And Joy, Jacinta, Tata Ong is back. Asang Jimpa joined. Thank you very much. Okay, good evening to everybody. Chung asks a question, which is quite good. So all your desires are met, and within the God realm, yes. All right. If you have a desire as a god, it is met. All right. And the reason, okay. And how your desires are basically met is actually because when you're in the God realm, the form you have taken actually relies upon your positive karma. All right. So basically, as with the other sessions, what I want to talk about just briefly is what leads you to be reborn in the heavens as one of the gods. All right. So as with being reborn as a hungry ghost, which I talked about a couple of sessions ago, the major cause for that is actually attachment or craving. All right, and being reborn in the hell realms is actually the major cause for that is anger and also committing the 10 non-virtuous acts. All right, so if the hell realms are the lowest of the realms and the cause to be reborn in the hell realms is the 10 non-virtuous acts, what is the cause to be reborn as a god? It should be the opposite, right? So the cause to be reborn as a god is actually the 10 virtuous acts. All right? So it is the opposite. So when you practice things like getting rid of your anger or being kind or generous, you generate positive karma. All right? Now there's a little bit of a technical difference between generating positive karma and generating merit. So merit is also something that I've talked about in previous sessions. So I might not get too much into that in this session. But if you just generally practice kindness, all right, and things like generosity, all right, you collect positive karma. And when you have an immense store of this positive karma, in your next rebirth, you can be reborn as a god. All right? So the cause to be reborn as a god is actually the 10 virtuous actions. All right? Performing these 10 virtuous actions just for the sake of performing them, not for the sake of generating merit, not for the sake of true spiritual transformation, just living an ordinary life as kindly, as compassionate as possible. All right? This will lead you to be reborn as a god. So when you're reborn as a god, basically you're relying solely on your positive karma to fulfill all of your desires. Okay? So I've just seen some more people join as well. Keng Hoi is online. Cindy's also online. Pastor Tapming is here. Good evening, Pastor Tapming. And Mr. Lam is here as well. Iman and JP Tong has joined as well. All right? Hello, thank you very much for joining. So today I'm going to be talking about the God realm and the demigod realm. So what I've been explaining just now is that the cause for being reborn as a god, okay, in the heavenly realms is actually practice of the 10 virtuous acts. But the 10 virtuous acts just for the sake of doing those acts, not for the sake of generating merit, because when you generate merit, that leads you on the spiritual path, which takes you out of the 6 realms completely. All right? So when you're reborn as a god, basically because you're relying on your positive karma, the force of your positive karma makes it so that all of your wishes, all of your desires become manifest, all right in front of you, and you basically can enjoy it. So you just spend your entire existence as a god enjoying yourself. All right? Even within the God realm, there are forms of suffering. All right? Now, this suffering occurs at 2 major points within a god's life. All right? One is doing battle with the demigods, and that I'm going to explain when I talk more about the demigod realm, all right? But the other is actually just about when a god is going to pass away and then take rebirth again, okay? Because within the God realm, everything appears in front of you, everything that you can desire, because of the force of your positive karma, you don't take any time to think about future rebirths. You don't take any time to think about suffering of others. You basically just go about your entire life enjoying yourself. And this comes about all from a form of attachment, in the sense that because you have everything that you think you want or you need, you don't think about anything else. Okay? So what happens is a god would spend their entire life enjoying themselves, but towards the end of their life, they come to a realization of 3 things. All right? They come to a realization of, it's not more a realization, it is more of this comes into their mind more. They kind of remember it more, okay? The first is because within the God realm you do have a form of clairvoyance. They actually see their previous lifetimes. And in effect, what they actually see is everything that they have done to generate the positive karma that has led them to take rebirth within the God realm. So they see themselves having been kind people, compassionate people, to give them enough positive merit to actually become a god. Then they realize that as a god, that they're actually enjoying all of these things in the heavenly realms, and that the reason why that they're enjoying all of this is because of the positive karma that they accumulated in previous lifetimes. Okay? And thirdly, what they realize and what they see, because they do have a sense of clairvoyance, they actually see where they're going to take rebirth next. Okay? Now, because they have been in the heavenly realms, and because every moment that is spent there actually uses up the positive karma that they have accumulated, what happens now is, because say if here's the level of positive karma and here's the level of negative karma, all right? So before they take rebirth as a god, they build up their store of positive karma, okay? So when they're enjoying the results of this positive karma in the heavenly realms, they're using up this positive karma, all right? So the level of their positive karma is going down, 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 because they're using it up, because they're enjoying themselves, they're benefiting from it, and it goes down, 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 down. Now, at one point, it becomes level with their negative karma, but they're still enjoying themselves in heaven. So their positive karma reduces, 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 reduces. Okay? By the time a god passes away from the heavenly realms, their negative karma, which is this level, is now a lot more than their positive karma, which is down here, because remember, karma can be exhausted, which I've talked about in a previous session, all right? So now they have a lot more accumulated negative karma, the potential of suffering, than they do positive karma. So when they pass away, gods usually tend to take rebirth within the 3 lower realms, because the force of their negative karma is so much greater than what is left of their positive karma. So before a god passes away, they actually see this, because they have forms of clairvoyance. So when they see this, they suffer. They suffer mentally, because they know that they have wasted their time within the God realm, just enjoying themselves. And they know that they're going to fall into a bad rebirth. When they remember these, when they kind of have a realization or memory or future sight of these 3 things, their previous lives, their current life, and their future life, it causes them a lot of mental suffering, a lot of mental anguish. All right? At this point, what happens is gods actually have, their bodies are very beautiful, they're brilliant, they have kind of light bodies, there's like light shining out of their bodies. But when they remember these 3 things, what happens is this light fades. Okay? So their body is no longer light, it's no longer luminous, it's no longer giving off light. It fades and it becomes dark. Okay? Then what happens is that there's actually 10 signs that happen when a god is just about to pass away. So they're losing the light from their body is one sign. Another sign is that their clothes start to get dirty. All right? And pick up stains. Before that, because they've been enjoying themselves, their clothes have been completely pristine, completely immaculate. All right? Another sign that they're going to pass away is whenever they try to sit down, they feel uncomfortable. So in traditional scriptures, it said that they sit down on their thrones. All the gods have thrones, all right? So they sit down on their thrones and they basically lay back and enjoy themselves, all right? But when a god remembers these 3 things, the god doesn't want to sit down. He or she will feel uncomfortable when they're sitting down. Okay? So similarly, there are more signs. There's 10 of them in total. And one of them is that the other gods actually don't want to go near you anymore. They don't want to go near you because you're no longer bright, you're no longer brilliant, you no longer have the look and the feel of a god. You start losing it just before you pass away. So basically, imagine now you have your family and your friends, and then all of a sudden one day you wake up and they no longer want to be near you. They no longer want to see you. They no longer want to talk to you. All right? So this naturally causes a lot of mental anguish, a lot of mental suffering. And this is what a god actually has to go through just before they pass away from the god realm. And in fact, it's said within the scriptures, I'm quoting from the Lam Rim, okay? The mental suffering of a god who is just about to pass away, okay, is 16 times greater than the mental suffering that you have to go through as a hell being. Okay? So, as the time approaches, the mental suffering, the mental anguish basically increases and increases and increases, because they remember that to get to where they were as a god, they had to do all of these positive things. They had to collect all of these positive karma just to be reborn as a god. Okay? But when they got to that level, they didn't use their lifetime as a god to their full benefit and used up all of their positive karma, and this is going to lead them to go down and to suffer in one of the 3 lower realms. Okay? So why is this important for us to know? It is important for us to know because no matter how people always have the thinking, oh, if I was a god, I would do this and I would do that. And some people are altruistic in their motivations, in their wishes to become a god. Other people are very selfish, are very self-centered. It's all about themselves. Oh, if I had a god, I'd be like this, I'd be like this. And actually it has a meaning, it has a purpose for our life, because a lot of the time, even though we have what we need, especially in a country like Malaysia, all right? In other developed countries around the world, we actually have what we need to live, we have what we need to survive, but yet we're always trying to crave and get more things, all right? We always kind of look up to those people who are richer than us, who have the better car, who have the better house, and we kind of daydream, wouldn't it be nice to live like them, all right? But if you actually talk to people who are rich, who have it all, like these superstars, all the famous actors and actresses and musicians, people like that, most of the time, even though they have everything they need materially, they're not actually happy. I mean, you have all of these stories of people going into things like, that they start drinking a lot of alcohol, maybe they even do drugs, they're depressed. I mean, sorry to say, but you do hear that people that have it all do have horrendous mental sufferings. So when we think if we have it all that we're going to be happy, it's not actually the case, because external things do not bring happiness. And this is something that as Buddhists we need to understand especially taking the concept and the idea of the God realm and trying to apply it into our lives now. All right? This is one thing that we should all try and do. All right? Because having external things or becoming God or, having the benefit of all of this material needs being met, all of our wishes being granted, is basically akin to say if you have a burn. If you have a burn, obviously it's painful, but if you run it over cold water, for that instant, you're going to have some relief, all right? But that burn is still there. So after the cold water has gone, you're still going to feel that pain, you're still going to feel the burn. So having things materially, thinking that we'll be happy if we have all the things we want, such as the house, the cars, the relationships, whatever, is basically like covering a burn with cold water. It's temporary. It doesn't solve the actual problem. Buddhism, however, and the teachings towards enlightenment teach you how to get rid of that burn completely, all right? Because even within the God realm, you will face some form of suffering, all right? So that is what I wanted to share about the God realm. So if you have any questions about the God realm, please do ask. And I'll be sharing a little bit about the demigod realm, and then I'll be answering your questions, all right? I see here that we have a comment from Judy. Judy asks, I'm waiting to hear if you have a choice. I don't completely understand your comment. Choice in what sense? So if you could just elaborate a little bit more, then I can help to answer that question, all right? Lillian Tan's also joined. Pastor Antoinette has joined as well. Thanks for joining. And Elsie asks, oh no, Elsie's left a comment. Very true. Most superstars are very lonely in real life. A lot of fake on the screen you see. Yeah, it's true. All right. A lot of stars are quite unhappy. It's very hard to find a somebody who is rich, who is famous, who has it all that everybody dreams of having, who is mentally and emotionally happy. All right. And if they are, it's probably due to a strong spiritual practice that they have. All right. Okay, Chung asks a question. Where is the God realm? Is it another place of existence, plane of existence? All right. Traditionally speaking, yes, the God realm is, how to explain this in an easy to understand way. It is another plane of existence, all right? But because they're gods and they do have powers, they do have the ability to interact with humans and even animals and other realms of existence as well, all right? Now, within the God realm, there are actually different levels of gods, all right? So you have like your normal everyday God or deity. Sometimes you have what are known as like local deities or land deities, and these are basically beings who govern a specific area or a specific area within a plane of existence. All right. So in Malaysia, we always talk about different land deities. In Buddhism, we always talk about different land deities, and certain areas of land will have a particular deity looking after it. And now these are considered one of the lower existences as a god. And then as you get higher, different gods have different purposes. So they look after different things, or they can govern different things that have different sorts of powers and everything. The higher you get within the God realm, however, the highest of the gods, all right, do have a more broader understanding of existence and do actually can actually improve themselves, because they kind of understand that what they are going through, their existence, is actually based on their positive karma. So you do have stories and examples of certain gods who actually come down to receive teachings from the Buddhas and other enlightened masters, and they are actually practicing as much as they can within the God realm. All right. But in essence, yes, Chung, there is a that the heavenly realms are different from our plane of existence. Okay, I'm not going to go into the cosmological aspect of it because it will get quite complicated for this live stream. All right. So Mr. Lam asks, how do humans get reborn into the? Well, too many comments. Wait a minute. How do humans get reborn into the God or demigod realm? All right. It's by accumulating positive karma. Okay, so the more positive karma that you have, the more likely you are to be reborn in one of the three higher realms, and that includes the God realm and the demigod realm. All right. So Callista's online. Good evening, Callista. Nice of you to join. Okay. Judy asks, choice in what realm you go to by your actions. All right. Judy, unfortunately, within the 6 realms of existence, as long as you're within cyclic rebirth, you have no choice where you get reborn. It really depends on the store of negative or positive karma that you have built up in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes. But the key point that determines where you go after you pass away is actually determined by the last thought you have. The thought you have as you are passing away from this life. All right. So, if it is a say a form of a thought of anger, for example, it most likely open up what is known as the throwing karma, which will lead you to take rebirth in hell. If you're attached or craving for something, it will lead you to take rebirth probably as a spirit within the hungry ghost realm. All right. If it is a positive thought, all right, it will open up positive karma, which will help you to take rebirth in one of the higher realms. All right. This is one of the reasons that Buddhism emphasizes the mind a lot. Okay. From, just on the perspective of trying to control where you go in your next rebirth, it's one of the reasons why and Buddhism emphasizes things like meditation, things like controlling your mind, things like generating positive attitudes within your mind stream, reducing the negative tendencies within your mind stream, so that maybe at the point of death, if you haven't done other practices, at least you have a calm, peaceful state of mind when you do pass away, and that hopefully can lead you to take rebirth in a good rebirth. All right. So that's kind of on a lower level. On a higher level, obviously, if you do generate a lot of merits, if you do transform your mind enough, then at the point of death, you can actually, if you have enough spiritual attainments, then like the spiritual attained masters, such as Rinpoches, and high level practitioners can actually choose where they want to be reborn. All right. At the point of death, if you've done enough merit-making activities and you've made a lot of aspirational prayers and you have a strong connection with a particular deity, you can take rebirth into one of their pure realms, which I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it is a place where you can actually evolve spiritually without needing to be completely under the grasp of cyclic existence of your karma. So there you can practice to become enlightened without having to suffer the full force of your karma. All right. So Elsie, I hope that answered your question. Elsie asks how to prevent from going to the God realm and the demigod realm. How to prevent yourself from going there. The best thing to do to prevent yourself from going there is actually to practice the Dharma, is to transform your mind, all right? Is to generate a lot of merit, all right? Now, when I talked about getting to the God realm or the demigod realm, I was talking about the 10 virtuous acts, all right? These are things like not killing, not stealing, not lying. You do this without any form or wish of actually transcending cyclic existence altogether. So you just kind of develop the tendency, I shouldn't lie. Okay, I shouldn't kill. That actually generates positive karma. So the more karma you generate, whether positive or negative, you will have to suffer the effects or the consequences of it. So this can be either negative, going to one of the 3 lower realms, or positive, going to one of the 3 higher realms. So the way out of this completely is actually to focus on spiritual practice and to generate merit. All right? So merit to transform yourself. The way to get out of the whole thing is to become enlightened. Okay? So that's what all Buddhists actually aim for. All right? So Callista also asks, any Buddha exist in the God realm? Can God appear in human realm? Okay. Buddhas can manifest in the God realms. Buddhas can manifest in any realms they want because they are not bound by the law of karma, because they've transcended it completely. So Buddhas can manifest in any way, in any realm, in any form they want. And can gods appear in the human realm? Yes, gods can appear in the human realms because they do have powers, they do have abilities, they can manifest, and they do manifest in the human realms, because a lot of religions, a lot of spiritual practices these days, I'm not talking about Buddhism, I'm just talking about spiritual practice in general, do rely on higher beings, on higher deities. So when you do pray, when you do invoke upon certain deities, yes, they do have the ability to help you if your karma allows them to help you, all right? But then when a god helps you, technically speaking, you're actually, what the energy that they're tapping into is actually your positive karma, all right? So there's a difference between how a god would help you and how a Buddha helps you, because how a Buddha helps you is to generate merit. Remember, merit never runs out. Karma does run out, all right? Positive karma runs out, negative karma also runs out. Okie dokie. Have a question from Martin. PNP, in the 35 confessional Buddhas, the inference is that being born as a long life god is the result of karmic obstruction. In that sense, is it equivalent to be born in hell, in that in both realms there would be too much distractions, bliss in heaven and pain in hell, to practice the Dharma? Would you say then that being in the heaven where you're blissed out all the time is ultimately a negative result? Could you explain a bit on this? So basically, Martin's referring to the 35 confessional Buddha practice, in which it says that being born as a god is also the result of a karmic obstruction, and that because you're in the God realm and you're enjoying yourself too much, it's kind of equivalent to being hell when you're suffering too much. And this doesn't allow you the opportunity to practice spiritual transformation, to actually transcend samsaric existence completely. And Martin is absolutely correct, all right? Whereas in hell, you can't practice because you're just basically going under so much physical suffering. Similarly, in heaven, you're undergoing so much bliss because you literally have everything that you want. Everything that you think about appears in front of you. You have no time to practice spirituality, to actually transform yourself on the spiritual path towards enlightenment. So in both states, all right, there is no opportunity to practice, all right? So Martin is right in that. And here you see, because Martin here is talking about obstructions of karmic obscurations, all right? Here you see, actually, this is where you get into karma, all right? Ultimately speaking, both negative karma, which leads you to hell, and positive karma, which leads you to be reborn as a god, both do not help you, okay? Both actually keep you bound to cyclic existence, which means that you're going to have to experience suffering in a form or another again and again and again and again. So even though you think positive karma is a good thing, ultimately it's not, because it keeps you bound to samsara. That is why, as Buddhists, we focus on the practice of generating merit, which is different than positive karma, all right? So merit is a force that actually helps to propel you out of samsara, whereas both karma, positive and negative, only keep you within samsara. Okay? So Callista says, can God appear in human realm? Got the answer already. Oh, okay, all right. And no problem. Thank you for your questions. So now I've been talking about the God realm. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the demigod realm. All right? Now the demigod realm is kind of your existence within the demigod realm is a little bit like a god, all right? But however, you don't have as much power as a god would have. And even though what you experience is due to your positive karma, your experiences that you have are not exactly like a god. So if a god wants something, if they think of something, it automatically appears in front of them. Demigods are not like that. When you're born as a demigod, you actually do get good things, all right? You do get things that, material things, physical things, but not as much as the gods, okay? Not as much as the god realm. So what happens? Demigods actually are extremely jealous. They're jealous because they see what the gods have. They have the power to see the god realm. They see what the gods have. They see how the gods are living. They see all of these things that the gods have, and they want it for themselves. They want that bliss of having everything, of thinking about something and it appears in front of you. So the major kind of afflictional delusion that marks rebirth as a demigod is actually jealousy. Okay? So because they see the god realm, they see the gods, they see the gods enjoying themselves to no end, they become extremely jealous. And all they want to do is to have the things that the gods have. So traditionally it's said that what happens is the demigods, because of their jealousy, it builds up in them so much that they want to attack the heavenly realms and they want to take the heavenly realms for themselves. So they start preparing to go to battle. Okay? When they go to battle, they basically have all these weapons, they have all this armor. And they prepare to attack the gods in their realm, in the heavenly realms, because they want the heavens for themselves. So they're constantly seeking of ways to get the heavens, all right? But the thing is, the suffering that a demigod goes through is basically, one, seeing things that other people have and being jealous of it, all right? But as well as being jealous of it, which causes obviously mental and emotional suffering, when they go to battle against the gods, they're scared. They're scared because they know that the gods are extremely powerful, more powerful than they are. But the jealousy that they have is also kind of forcing them to want to attack the heavens, want to take over the heavens for themselves. So what happens is they send their armies out to kind of try and overtake the heavens so that they can have the heavens for themselves. So what happens is they go into battle with the gods. All right? But the battle that they enter is extremely one-sided because the gods are a lot more powerful than the demigods. So the gods usually always win. They always win the battles. All right? So when a demigod, strikes a god with a weapon, because the gods are so much more powerful, nothing happens to them. All right? The gods may be cut, they may bleed, but instantly the gods will think, oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, wouldn't it be good if I'm not bleeding anymore? And because they're in the god realm, their bodies completely heal. All right? The demigods, on the other hand, do not have this ability, this power. So when they get cut, when they get maimed in battle, it remains a wound, a physical wound. So the gods, can maim the demigods. The gods can even kill the demigods quite easily because they're gods, all right? It is very difficult for a demigod to actually kill a god, okay? Because the god is basically, has the backing of an immense store of positive karma, okay? So what happens is when these armies go out from the demigod realm to fight the gods, those left within the demigod realm go through a lot of emotional suffering. Because within the demigod realm, they still have forms of clairvoyance. So they see their brothers and sisters or their spouses or their children going out to wage war against the gods. And they see the battle, and they see that their families, their friends, their brothers and sisters, their spouses, their children are being injured, they're being maimed, they're being, killed. It causes them a lot of emotional suffering, a lot of mental anguish. But then again, they're so jealous of what the gods have that on one hand, they want to save their families. They don't want their families and their friends to suffer. But their jealousy is so much more that they still want their families to go into battle against the gods and trying to take over heaven so they can get it for themselves. Again, here you see the mode of being within the demigod realm is so overtaken by jealousy and mental anguish that they don't actually spend time or effort in trying to evolve spiritually or generate merit, which will take them out of suffering completely. All right. So the demigod realm again is another realm in which there is, even though they get what they want to a limited extent, due to their positive karma, it is still not a realm in which most beings are able to practice transformation to get out of suffering completely. All right? So that's the demigod realm. All right? If you've got any questions about that, please ask, because I've finished with my explanation on the God realm and the demigod realm so far. So I have a comment, I think, by Pastor Taming. Indra and Brahma are the gods who requested Buddha to turn the wheel of Dharma. Both Indra and Brahma had such good merits to be able to make such a request to the Buddha. Indra and Brahma indeed are the types of gods who are making good use of their existence to further their advancement along the path to enlightenment. Pastor Tatming is 100% correct. After Buddha Shakyamuni achieved enlightenment, he was thinking if he should teach what he had learned, because it is difficult for people to fathom and to understand. But what happened is two gods, Brahma and Indra, who are two of the highest gods within the God realm, came down to earth and requested Buddha to teach, because they knew what the Buddha had learned was of immense benefit to help people out of their suffering. And you're right that they did have merits to be able to see that, and they did have the merits to be able to request the Buddha to teach, so that the Buddha's teachings, or what the Buddha learned and shared with other people, can help sentient beings to overcome their suffering completely, to achieve the same state as the Buddha did. Okay, so both Indra and Brahma are of the highest rank in the God realm. All right, and as such, not only do they have a store of extreme positive karma, they also have merit. And it was because of that merit that they were able to understand that the Buddha's teachings are extremely beneficial, and what the Buddha learned is extremely beneficial, and hence that's why they requested the Buddha to teach the Dharma. Okay, I've got a comment from Martin. Would you conclude that it takes more merits to be born as a human being with the freedoms than being born as a god? How then does observation, Martin, I think your comment cut off as you were typing.
Yes, two of both. Patron and Elsie questions.
Okay. I'm just going to refresh my page because I can't see everybody's comment. I'd just like to talk about Martin's comment. So Martin asked, does it mean that if you're born as a human with the freedoms and endowments, it means you have more merits than if you're born as a god? In essence, not really, because you still take rebirth as a human being dependent on your karma. Okay, that is generally speaking. But if you have here merit comes into play the fortune, and I mean, you have the merit to actually come across the teachings towards enlightenment and to be able to practice it. That's where merit comes into play. So it's not necessarily due to so being born as a human is not necessarily due to merit, but it's more due to karma. But having the merit to actually meet the Dharma and to transform your mind on the path towards enlightenment, that is due to merits. All right. So what you've actually talked about is something that I will get into when I do the session on the human realm. All right. Sorry, there was one question by Chung, right? Is there another one? Oh, by LC. Okay, LC asks, sorry, one more question. Vishnu, Shiva are all gods, am I right? How about Lakshmi? Is she a god or a Buddha, as Lakshmi is like Kuan Yin, so is it true? All right, LC. Vishnu and Shiva are gods, all right? They are of the highest rank of gods, okay? Within the God realm. Okay? How about Lakshmi? Lakshmi is also a god. Actually, Lakshmi is the consort of Vishnu. All right, so she is known within Hinduism wealth. Okay, is she a god or a Buddha? Lakshmi is definitely a god. She's not enlightened, so she's not a Buddha, but she's definitely within the God realm, okay? But yet again, she belongs to the highest rank of the gods, all right? So if you do engage in her practice and her propitiation, obviously she does help, because as the highest rank of gods, they're usually quite compassionate, because actually it's said that the highest rank of gods have all received teachings or know the Dharma in some form or another. So yes, she can and does help people, but the method in which she can and does help people is actually based on karma. All right, so the way that she blesses you is to open up your karma of having wealth, okay, of having material things, okay, which is different than how an enlightened being would help you in certain situations where you need financial assistance. They actually base their help more on merit that you generate, okay, so it doesn't actually run out. So there's a slight difference between the two, all right? Then we have a question by Chung. Are beings residing in the heavenly realms of the Buddhas also gods? Do these beings reborn there due to karma or merit or both? Okay, now I think what Chung is talking about here is the pure realms. All right. Now, usually speaking, we always say that the pure realms, that certain Buddhas have manifest pure realms. All right. So, as I was mentioning earlier, pure realms are basically realms in which you take rebirth, in which you have more time to practice the Dharma, because you have no material need. Things are provided, things are plentiful, so you have more time to actually spend on the Dharma. You can receive teachings from the deities directly, and you're not bound by negative karma or immense positive karma that can actually bind you further to samsara. And when you're in a pure realm, it's a very quick method for you to achieve enlightenment. Okay? So when you enter a pure realm or are reborn in a pure realm, that does not mean you are enlightened, but you are now in a realm where you can practice more, you can transform your mind more, you can focus on spiritual development, on spiritual transformation. Now, physically, these pure realms they're basically emanations of an enlightened deity. All right. So we say that the most common one is Amitabha's pure realm. All right. Most people here watching this will probably know about Amitabha's pure realm. Devachan Sukhavati. Okay, and then you also have in Kechara, so Amitabha's pure realm is called Sukhavati, or in Sanskrit, or Dewachen in Tibetan. Then obviously, if you're watching, I mean, you're here on the Kechara Facebook page, Kechara is the name of the pure realm of Vajrayogini. Okay? So if you're doing Vajrayogini's practice, you make strong aspirational prayers to be reborn in her pure realm so that you can practice there and receive further teachings on how to transform yourself from Vajrayogini directly and transform yourself and become enlightened in that realm, all right? Now, pure realms are emanations of these Buddhas' minds. So, for example, Amitabha's pure realm is an emanation of Amitabha's mind. Kechara is an emanation of Vajrayogini's mind, all right? But where are these realms located? They're actually located within the heavens, all right? So you have the heavenly realms where you have the gods, the heavenly realms. And then the Buddhas basically emanate a pure realm inside one of these heavenly realms. Okay, so technically speaking, when you take rebirth in a pure realm, you're actually taking rebirth within the heavens. But because this pure realm is the emanation of a Buddha's mind, it is not bound by the usual afflictions or obscurations of a heavenly realm. Okay, because your entire environment, because it's a manifestation of an enlightened mind, is completely geared towards achieving enlightenment. Okay, so that's kind of a bit complicated. I hope I tried to make that as clear as possible. All right. So Martin, okay, I can see more of Martin's comment now. He was asking about the 18 freedoms. And so that is something that I'm going to talk about in my session on the human realm, all right? And there's a second part to his question. Why would living a virtuous life and avoiding the 10 non-virtues still be insufficient to guarantee a human rebirth? Okay. I'll touch a little bit on that now, all right? It's not insufficient, okay? There's a slight difference here because when we talk about the 10 virtuous actions, okay, you're talking about avoiding the 10 non-virtues. Okay. Okay. Avoiding the 10 non-virtues, all right, will lead you to not falling to the 3 lower realms. It doesn't guarantee a human rebirth because if you have a stronger store of positive karma, or maybe you still have an affliction such as jealousy, you will have to take rebirth in one of the 3 higher realms, and depending on your throwing karma at your point of death, it will open up a specific karma that will take you to the a specific realm. All right, it's not sufficient to guarantee a human rebirth because again, it is based on your karma. All right, and rather than your merit. Okay, so here the practice of the 10 virtuous actions is different. There is the 10 virtuous actions with no motivation to achieve enlightenment, and that will take you to rebirth in the demigod or the God realms. But if you practice the 10 virtuous actions with a motivation to improve yourself, to overcome all suffering so that you can actually help other sentient beings, this motivation actually leads those 10 actions to become merit. Okay, so there's a difference. Okay, it's also why we always make motivational praise or dedicational praise that we be reborn as a human being, or we be reborn in a realm or a place where we can actually meet the Dharma again to practice it more if we're not able to achieve enlightenment in this life, or we're not able to go to a pure land at the point of our passing. So there are prayers and aspirational prayers, dedicational prayers that we do, so that we kind of dedicate the merit that we have generated to kind of to helping us take rebirth in a place where we can actually meet the Dharma again. All right. So this could be in the human realm, or it could be perhaps even as a god, or hopefully perhaps even take rebirth in a pure realm. So I hope that answers a little bit of your question. This is something that I will again talk more about when I'm talking about the human realm. Okay. Elsie asks, so the best is not to take rebirth in any of the 6 realms, am I right? Absolutely, you're right. It's 100% correct. The aim of a Buddhist is to get out of these 6 realms completely. When you become a Buddha, or enlightened, you are no longer bound to have to take rebirth in these 6 realms. So the best thing is, the ultimate motivation is to transcend and get out of these 6 realms altogether. Okay, and Pastor Honey asks, to ascend to Kechara paradise, isn't it necessary for one to be a tantric practitioner? Okay. Now, usually speaking, to ascend to Kechara paradise, you would have had to have received the initiation of Vajrayogini and be a tantric practitioner, because you're practicing the path of Vajrayogini, and you're creating a very strong connection to her. However, okay, and this is however, that is the most common method to achieve Kechara paradise. However, if you do have strong faith in Vajrayogini, all right, and if you practice the Dharma, and if you make offerings to Vajrayogini, and if you make aspirational prayers to Vajrayogini, okay, she can actually come to collect you at your point of death without you having to have received initiation. All right, there's a beautiful blog post by Rinpoche, His Eminence Sem Rinpoche, on semrinpoche.com called Starting on Vajrayogini Now. And this is talking about various things. It basically encompasses the entire path of the Dharma, okay? And it talks a lot about motivations. It talks a lot about making offerings and to Vajrayogini to create a connection with her. If you have that connection with her, and you have practiced enough of mind transformation, if you have generated enough merit, that merit itself can become a cause for her to come collect you at your point of death and to take you to her pure realm without you having to have received her initiation. All right? But in that sense, you do need to practice the Dharma. You do need to generate a lot of merit. You do need to transform your mind a lot, all right, in order for that to occur. All right? So it is not necessary it's not strictly necessary to have received Vajrayogini's initiation. As with ascending to any pure land, to any pure realm, all right, of a deity, if you have enough merit and you have a connection with that particular Buddha, you can go to the pure realm. For example, one of the ways in which a method in that which Rinpoche has taught to create a connection with a particular Buddha, to be reborn in a pure land, which actually every one of us here in Kechara is probably doing on a daily basis, is actually Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga. When you do Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga with full visualization, you're actually creating a connection with Maitreya. And where Maitreya is at the moment is he is ruling over Ganden heaven, or Ganden pure realm actually, or Tushita pure land. All right. So when you do Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga every single day with extreme faith, with strong visualization, with a strong motivation, and you practice transformation of your mind, of yourself during your daily life, you actually go about your daily life actually embodying the teachings and practicing the teachings, you are creating a very strong connection with Maitreya Buddha. So at the point of death, your merits can manifest in such a way that you can actually take rebirth within Ganden pure realm. All right? So again, here it's not necessary for you to have tantric initiation of, so say, a Lama Tsongkhapa initiation, but because you engage in this practice every single day and because you're transforming your mind, you generate that merit where that can lead you to rebirth within Ganden heaven. All right? So, all right, so I've just got a comment from Martin to say thank you, and also one from Pastor Hani to say thank you. So I hope everybody has learned a little bit more about the God realm and the demigod realm. It's usually not something that is focused on when we're talking about the 6 realms. We usually only focus and talk about the lower realms and the sufferings that are in the lower realms, but as I've kind of shared with all of you, even within the higher realms, there is forms of suffering. And even though you get what you want, basically, your wishes come true, it is not something that leads you out of samsara, but actually keeps you bound within samsara. All right? There's a comment from Chung. The 10 realms, this includes Buddha, Bodhisattva, Pratyekaya Buddha, and Shravaka, are mutually immanent and mutually inclusive, each one. Okay, Chung has posted a comment. All right, Chung has posted a comment which is about which somebody had kind of talked about previously as well in a previous session. How I've been explaining the 6 realms, if I'm coming it from an aspect of a physical location, as a physical place, as a physical being, of physical planes of existence. The quote that Chung has mentioned is more to do with a mind. Now, there are 2 ways of looking at the 6 realms of existence. There are ways of looking at it from the physical perspective, but also from a more internal perspective. Now, you can only look at the 6 realms of existence or any form of existence as internally, and examine it internally within your mind stream once you have learned what the physical planes of existence, what the physical rebirths in these 6 realms are actually marked by, which means the suffering that they go through and the emotions that you have to endure and you have to suffer while you're in these realms. All right, so this is a reason why I have been focusing on the physical rebirths, on the physical 6 realms, okay? Because without a firm understanding of that, you will not know how to internalize that information in your mind to actually change how you behave and change how you interact with the world. So I've been focusing on the physical planes, all right? Now, a lot of people these days actually tend to ignore the physical 6 realms, and they say it is more of a metaphor in how to transform your mind. Now, yes, it can be and is a metaphor for how to transform your mind. For example, to give up the anger that leads to hell, to give up the attachment and the craving that leads to the hungry ghosts, to give up the jealousy that leads to rebirth in the demigod realm. However, as a Buddhist, you must have faith, and not faith, but an understanding of the physical realms first, okay? Because if you kind of deny that the physical realms exist, you deny the law of karma. If you deny the law of karma, you deny the Buddhist teachings, because the 4 Noble Truths are based on the law of karma, right? And this is what the Buddha taught. Hence, to focus too much on trying to understand the mental aspect of it first is not going to be beneficial. It's more beneficial to focus on the physical six realms and the sufferings they face first, understand it, know it, and have an intellectual understanding of the sufferings and the delusions and the obscurations of beings born there, then actually go out of your way and put effort into not doing the actions that will lead there physically first and then verbally. Okay? So this is the reason that I've been focusing on the six realms as a physical place first, because when you start out, you have to control your physical actions and your verbal actions before you can get to the mental state. All right? So it is easier and more effective to deal with merit making and purification of negative karma physically and then verbally than it is mentally. Okay, so thank you for your comment, but I just wanted to explain a little bit why I'm focusing so heavily on the physical aspects of the six realms. All right. Elsie says thank you. Judy also says thank you, Judy. I hope you've learned a little bit. You can watch the previous sessions that were done by myself and Pastor David. They're also here on the Kechara Facebook page. And if you do have any more questions, we are online every night at 9 p.m. Apart from on Thursday night. So tomorrow's session is by Pastor David. So everybody, I hope I've been talking for quite a while. So I hope everybody's learned a little bit about the demigod realm and the God realm. So I would like to end it there. So I will say to all of you, please stay home, please stay safe, and stay spiritual. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining today's session, and have a good night. Thank you.